is up, you guys? It's Cheko here, and today we're back with another Reverse 1999 voice actor interview. I know, this is way sooner than expected, but I am here today, oh my gosh, so graciously, with Aiden Dawn, the voice actor of Kakania from 1.7 and 1.9, and the voice actor of Voyager, who, if you guys don't know, which, spoiler alert, is one of the featured characters for the new CN patch, I believe. Yes! So we finally get to learn a lot more. So welcome, Aiden!
Yay, thank you for having me. I'm super excited to get to see more of Voyager in 2.7.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't learned a lot about that character, mostly because she's more like been like a character that we know exists, but hasn't really gotten much, you know. So it makes me excited to learn more, especially since people have been asking for that. You know, they've been like, I want to learn more about Voyager. She's like really cool concept, like an alien from outer space. Yeah. It's like we're very excited to see not only your performance, but your wonderful character in the coming patch and the coming patches. You know, people, you were really requested for like the voice actor of Kakania, please. So I'm very lucky and happy to have you here with me today.
Well, thank you for having me. I love talking about this game, so it's very special to just get to like blab.
And it's really even more interesting to learn more about like the behind the scenes and how the recording process goes, because let me just say, you ate. You ate. Especially with Kakania, it is so good. Like, so many moments made me so emotional. Like, I think everyone knows, but like I was like, hit me right here. I was touched. So let's get into the first question, which is, how did you come across this role as Kakania and Voyager? Like, when did you say yes, and how did you get involved?
Yeah, so way back, baby Aiden, before she had like done all the video game credits and felt confident in herself. I had auditioned, I think it was 7 times for this game. And then I ended up booking Voyager, and like they later on told me it was like a changeling audition. They did auditions for Voyager, but they didn't send it to me, but then they pulled my audition for changeling, or Jessica, and they were like, no, we want that voice.
Wait. That's so cool.
Yeah. And that's sometimes how it goes in casting. Like,
that's interesting. I didn't even know that was a thing. And hearing that you auditioned 7 times and then they heard your voice for Jessica and then they were like, we want that voice. That's the one we want. It's so cool. I didn't even think that was a thing that happens, but that's so interesting. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
More info on voice acting.
Wonderful.
Yeah. That's so cool. What about Kakania? Was that also like they heard you for Voyager and then they were like...
That one, I think there were several rounds and I was one of the later rounds, but they still had me do like a few callbacks to like really be sure, because with Kakania, they were like, this character needs to be able to... with your words, eat. So yeah, they did lots of adjustments and like were really like trying to find the perfect fit, and they heard my voice for her, and it was my first time doing a German accent, but I really like accents, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna literally just analyze the crap out of an accent and do all the markings on the page and make it happen, and sure enough.
I thought you had the accent. I'm not gonna lie, I was like, I was so caught off guard when I heard your actual voice. I was like, wait, she's not actually German. Because you did such a great job. Like, I don't think anyone could tell that you didn't, you had to study really hard for the accent, but we could tell, you know, that you put in a lot of work. Every line, every word, I was like, great job. You did eat. So
yeah. You best bet that every single line of Kakania's was marked up with phonetics, like so that I could deliver that German accent while acting.
Whoa, that's actually that's so cool, because when I think about, so what kind of markings do you mean? Like, when I think about like marking, like, you know, like, did you mark like, this is how I'm gonna say this word, or this is how I'm gonna say that word?
So with the German accent, I studied like a lot of different levels of the German accent, like super heavy ones and lighter ones, and I landed on a bit of a lighter one that was more like Americanized or Canadianized. I don't know. I'm Canadian. But like more towards my natural accent, but with a lot of the influence. So like I listened to a German speaker who had come to the US, and she was saying how like sometimes the ways that people try to like overdo the accent, it might be too heavy on certain things. Like THs become like z sometimes, or d. So like just the way that those sit instead of doing the Z, because that's like a really like heavy version of the accent, I would change it to maybe a D sometimes, or sometimes I would still do a bit of a TH if it was like a slower word or something. And like I studied the way that the words are clipped. A lot of German people are very structured in their sentences, so you don't oftentimes hear Kakania being super fluid and beautiful. She's really clipped because like that's how the accent, that's how their language is. And I would often mark things with like a slash to tell myself like abruptly end this, you know, on this vowel or whatever, or syllable. And I used a mixture of like my own brain of like, okay, this is how this is gonna look for me, and actual phonetics, which are, there's a phonetic alphabet which is universal to any pronunciation. So any language, any pronunciation, there's a marking for it. So you learn that in like linguistics. I learned some about it in theater school, and like you can use that to mark up your scripts. So I used a bit of that as well.
Wait, you went to theater school? I'm like, you're so knowledgeable in this. I'm like, she has to have like went somewhere and like learned all this stuff, because I'm like, dang, okay. I didn't know you put like, that's, wow. That's good to know, because I'm kind of working on my British accent, you know. I think it's okay. Let me say something real quick. Okay, and tell me if it's good. You know, what should? Let me think of something. What's up? How's it going, guys?
I mean that sounded pretty good to me.
Thank you. Everyone out there who says my British accent sounds really bad, I just want you to know a professional voice actor said it sounds really good. So all your opinions, guys, it's now unofficial.
Yeah. There you go. You heard it here.
All right, question 2. What were your first impressions of your characters before you got the role versus after?
For Voyager, I just thought she was so cute, like literally the most adorable thing. And that was just from seeing the lines, because I didn't actually get to see a picture of her until I was like in session, because they were super like locked down about it. Yeah. And I just remember the line like, woof, meow. Like I was like, oh my god.
Oh,
it was
so
my
cute.
favorite thing ever.
Yeah. I just recently got her, and like, well, I wouldn't say recently, but I lost a 50-50 and I got her. And she's a character I've been wanting, to be honest, because I just love her design. It's very ethereal, especially, what is it? Is it a hand that comes out of her chest, or is it like, was it an eye? It was something.
It's like, yeah, she like, it's like some sort of like ball of power that she like lifts out, and like, oh yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah, when I saw that the first time, I was like, oh my god. I was like, whoa, okay. And then I had to look more into her, and I was like, because I thought she was just like, you know, like all the other characters, like, and then I was like, she's an alien from outer space. Okay, got it.
She's not like other girls. She's an alien.
Not like other girls. She's an alien from outer space, you know? So I was like, I was very curious to hear what your first impressions were of Voyager. But what about Kakania?
Kakania, I read those lines, and one of the audition lines was when they do the seance, and well, I guess they're not like trying to do the seance, but when they're in the what is it, like the art gallery, and Isolde starts summoning spirits against her will, and then Kakania's like, oh my god, just breathe, listen, calm down, like, and she's kind of talking to her, and just the explanation of the character and how she cares for this friend of hers who has these like a mixture of like mental health issues and like her powers, and just like I was like, wow, these characters are like intertwined. They're super well connected in this story, and you know, I thought about the people that I care about and if something was happening to them that they couldn't explain, and you know, just kind of tried to connect that way to it. And also, I forget which line it was in the audition, but something to Dr. Schwartz was in, or sorry, Mr. Schwartz. Call him Doctor. Something towards him was in the lines, and I was like, that's it. That this girl is sassy. This girl is so caring. Like, I feel like she had a lot of, because I'm like an empath, and I'm just like, I always want to be like super connected to people and give everybody the best, and I think I saw that in Kakania, and I was like, yeah, I love this girl.
I think I even know what line you're talking about when you're talking about, yeah, like I see your wife like for like therapy sessions, and she's saying like you're not really doing it for her. I was like, clock him, Kakania.
My favorite line to record. Period.
Yeah, no, everyone was gagged. Everyone was like, oh, she said that. She really clocked him. I was like, get it, Kakania? That was also one of my favorite lines as well, I must say. All right, third question. What was your first perception of Isolde? Because for me, I feel like when I first played the patch, I more or less immersed myself in Kakania than I did with Isolde. And personally speaking, when I was playing the patch, some of the stuff like Isolde did to Kakania did like hit home for me. And I feel like at the time, I was like really upset. I was like, Isolde, no! But then the more I got to learn about Isolde and Kakania's relationship, especially after playing Isolde's character story, I was like, oh my gosh, Isolde, my baby, like, come here. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm very curious to hear your first impressions.
I have such a deep love for her, especially like any character that sings, first of all. I'm like, just my musical theater ass. I was like, I love her. But getting to see, because I got to see the whole script. Sometimes when you're in a video game, you don't get to see all the lines, and sometimes you do. So when you're a lead, oftentimes you get to see the whole thing. And so I read the crap out of that chapter. I read everything. So I really knew the relationship that they had going in. And it was really, really beautiful just to see how it grew, and the misinterpretation, like when Kakania has that speech, where she's like, what is she saying? She's like talking about how artists, or arcanists are recognized for their artistic abilities, nothing more.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Kind of speech. Yeah. And Isolde hears her and she gets so inspired, and she's so well-meaning, but she's been like mind warped by the Manus, and just like how she interprets the world while dealing with spirits in her head, and sometimes not having control of her powers, which are part of what make her her, and allow her to connect to her art. Like, it must be so conflicting to be Isolde.
Yeah.
And, you know, to find Kakania and to feel safe with her, like, and to have that best friend. And but yeah, like I just think Isolde's such a special character and such a beautifully written character. Such a human or arcanist. But yeah,
I wouldn't mind playing that patch again and seeing it through different lenses. I'm sorry, Isolde, I should have given you the chance you deserve, but especially hearing it from you, it's like that. I feel like that's how a lot of people felt about Isolde, and how she's always like going through these conflicting things with like her family being one way, her brother being another way, and Isolde never got to really live her life and be like who she wants to be. And then Kakania always being there for her, like being like, I'll offer you, like I'll help you, I'll give you like a shoulder to cry on, you know. And it's like that was a really, if not one of the most powerful friendships in the game so far. And you know, we love them, you know, girly pops, girl bosses, you know. So hopefully like they can work things out, and yeah, they can, progress forward through their relationship. It was so sad, the ending.
I really, really hope we get to see them in another chapter.
Yes.
They gotta close their story out.
Exactly. Like, we can't just have it where they meet in the wilderness and, like, Isolde's trying to talk to her. Kakania, like, isn't able to, because I believe the foundation was like, yeah, you like, it's best if you don't, like, communicate with Isolde right now during her treatment. So hopefully we get to see Isolde be better and get to hang out with Kakania more. All right. So. Yeah, please. Please, if you're seeing this, we want more Isolde Kakania content. Yes, bring them back. All right. Have you ever tried summoning your own character in game? If so, how did it go?
Yep, I have. What is it? I got 3 copies of Voyager. So it's what is it? What does that count as?
That's
Portrait 2?
Portrait 2? Yes, that's Portrait 2.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. And then I have 1 copy of Kakania, so I've got them both. And I have Isolde. And I have Marcus.
Gotta get the whole team.
Yes, exactly. No,
so
I love them.
How did you get 3 copies of Voyager? I'm just curious.
Because I used to play every day, and I don't so much anymore because I'm just busy gal right now, but I had to pick like 1 gacha. I even played in the beta. When they like released a tweet about it, I was like jumped on it, and I was like playing the beta, and then I was playing from day 1, and just like, yeah, so Voyager was the first banner that I pulled on. It was her banner, so I got 1 copy of her. And then I think the next 10 pull, I got another. Yeah.
She felt that attraction. Oh.
Yeah, exactly. She was like, I'm here.
Wait, who'd you lose the 50-50 to?
I think I was pulling on Andronala.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. But you got, dang, 3 copies. I don't have 3 copies of a single character unless they're like a 4-star or something.
Yeah.
But that is so
I also
cool.
have maxed out Tenant because that's my favorite character aside.
Yeah. Tenant. I want more content with Tenant too. Yeah. Please more interactions between the characters. Anyway, I would love that.
Give us the sensual.
Yes, so cute, so cute. What was it like recording Kakania's monologue with Isolde, which you were just talking about earlier, on how Isolde was feeling pretty much very like unsure after her therapy session about her form of art, and how is it really authentic because she's, summoning spirits to take over her body, and like how humans perceive like arcanist abilities and talents, which is something discussed for pretty much most of the game as well. Pretty much just push and pull between humans and arcanists. And Kakania was pretty much just like, being an artist and a performer is pretty much, the stage is to be like, the natural thing on stage is to be somebody else. Like, that's what it is to be like an actor and all that kind of stuff. So what was going through like your mind during that recording process? Because that speech like hit me heavy. So
yeah, I think this will have to do with another one of the questions too, but I think it's one of my favorite directions that I've ever been given. And part of that speech was, the director told me, think of AOC, think of how she delivers to an audience, and how she kind of advocates for the political failings of America, kind of thing, and advocates for the people who don't have voices. And I think that if I were in AOC's shoes, like if she ever had a friend who was feeling less confident about themselves or their decisions, or choosing a path of art, she would absolutely be encouraging and fight for that, because art has a place in every group, whether we're people who are working in like accounting or whatever, right? Like you save up your money and you go to a concert because you want to feel alive. You watch anime on the weekends because you want to just experience some like comfort food, like there's art is all around us, and it's so valuable, it's so valid. It is a career. It is here I sit. It is a career. And it's something that's really important. So yeah, that was like one of my favorite scenes to do, because to kind of uplift a friend who's feeling down on themselves about that career path or about who they are because of it, and what that makes them. I think it's also a commentary on mental health in general, and how people who are kind of like neurotypical might other people with, you know, different like neurodivergencies and do them differently because they don't quite understand how they operate. And I mean vice versa. It happens in every grouping, but I looked at that and I was like, like I have such a spot in my heart for her because she just doesn't see the world the same. And I mean, neither does Kakania, but like it just has to be viewed through a lens of compassion, period.
Yeah, I really liked your answer on how you were saying that, well, everyone doesn't see the world differently. Like, everything is different. And I feel like that's also another big thing about Reverse 1999. They want you to see stuff from other people's perspective, because a lot of the characters, they can have good intentions, but sometimes just like do it like not in the most efficient way, I would say. That's like a lot of characters, even going back from like the beginning of the game, like even Manus. Like Manus, they just want, you know, like Arcanus to be accepted and like be able to live freely, not being able to worry about everyone else's judgment around them. But just the way they're going about it isn't necessarily like the right way to do it, you know? Like there's better ways to do it rather than just like getting rid of all the humans. But
we can have ideals and take them dark, you know? Like it's
it doesn't necessarily make a person bad. It's just, you know, like understanding where they're coming from and like finding a middle ground and a way to work around it type thing. Yeah. And I really loved the whole AOC thing. That was very interesting. Like if I had to guess, I would have not guessed that. And
Well, it's like my interpretation of Kakania through that lens, right? So it's not going to be like exactly an AOC speech, but it helped me to get to where I needed to be.
Yes.
A great director will know that about their actor, you know?
Yes. Is it, by the way, what's the name of the director? I believe I was told before by Alicia, but I forgot their name.
I actually don't know if I'm allowed to say.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm not sure. So
okay.
I don't want to get into trouble.
No. No. Okay. Well, that is confidential information, guys. But just know, director, you're doing an amazing job. Every character has been doing so well. So thank you. Yeah, and that was a really interesting interpretation. Not even like, you know, like because I feel like even people watching it like felt. Like, if you ever felt like Isolde, like that, you know, being validated in that kind of way, like, felt it. Especially, like, me. I felt that very much. So, thank you.
Welcome. I mean, I know how much I resonated with that whole chapter. So, I love when I hear that it resonates with other people because it's such a powerful story.
Thank you. Where was I? That was... Oh, wait, you answered. What's your favorite line to record of them? So I guess we could go to Voyager since you pretty much answered the Kakania one.
Yeah, I think it was the, any, like, song that I got to record for Voyager. I've gotten to record a few. So, like, the do-do-do-do-do-do. It was, like, the cutest thing ever. And I remember we did a few variations of it, because at first it was just going to be a hum, but because it's a very, like, bouncy song, we landed on the doo-doo. And it was, like, it was really cute.
Oh, that is cute. I could see how that would be your favorite. All right. Have you ever recorded a line and thought, wait, what does this even mean?
Yeah, I think for me, I specifically remember asking about the last line that I recorded for Voyager, which was about, and I think I understood it after the fact, but she was saying how grateful she was. It's like the one line where she actually speaks a sentence. And it ends with like how grateful she is because it brought me that letter, she says. And I was like, what letter? Like, are we talking about a letter of the alphabet? Like, I didn't get it. But then I did research on Voyager and on the Voyager satellite and on like satellite and all of that lore. And someone actually made a video on it, which is great. I recommend looking up like the relation between Voyager and the Voyager satellite. And it's part of the reason for her costume is like it was loosely based off of the it was like a a uniform that like Russian women would wear, and the Voyager satellites were like Russian satellites, and she hums like Green Sleeves and like a couple other things and plays a couple things because those were the songs on the Voyager record that was sent out into space. So like the form that she takes is because that's absorbable to human beings. And she loves music and communicates through music because that was her favorite part of learning about the humans.
Whoa.
So like, yeah, that letter that she got was like communication to her to bring her to Earth.
Why did I learn so much just now?
Yeah,
I'm like, wait, that's so cool. So
Yeah.
everything about the character is just, even the violin. I was very much like, she was one of the first characters like that drew my eye because she plays the violin, and I used to play the violin, so I was
Aw.
like, we play the violin. But learning all about this and how it ties into her character is so interesting. I have to check out that video you were talking about because now you got me intrigued. I need to
Yeah.
see all the connections. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I like, yeah, I just got. Can't wait for the next chapter that she's involved in.
I love your commitment. Let me just say, your commitment to learning not only everything about the characters, but like even like the small things, like what, like you hear a voice line, you're like, what is this letter? And then you just go into a complete deep dive on the character and learn so much about them and like their background to the accents. Like your commitment is just honestly like it's inspirational. Like I need to put that much commitment into my accounting classes because
Well, I don't know if you can be as much of a total nerd about accounting.
you know what, you probably have a point. I probably need to put that into something else. But very inspirational.
I'm sitting here with a Switch controller and Ampharos, my favorite Pokemon ever. Yeah, like I am a video game nerd through and through, and that is why I love this stuff.
my this is like a side tangent thing, but my siblings very much obsessed with Pokemon, so I'm sure they'll be excited to hear about that.
Amazing.
It's like everything I learn about you is so cool. I'm just like all right. Kakania has a very unique oh my gosh. Kakania has a very unique and artistic personality. Do you relate to any part of her character?
Yeah, I think I do, especially the fire that exists within her about like unjust things, and how she tries to, speak up for people who don't have a voice. I think that there's a lot of things we can and can't say, politically and whatever, right? And part of being an actor is kind of keeping a lot of those opinions to yourself, unfortunately, because like you have to hold up a presence and be applicable to everybody, and but there's definitely many parts of me where I do what I can in other ways, and who Kakania is so inspirational to me, and to see her strength and to see her stand up for what's right and to advocate in a time when silly men thought that electroshock therapy was the way to deal with emotional women. Like, come on.
Right? Like, who came up with this?
Yeah. So she stood up and owned her space and advocated for people, and I feel akin to her in that sense, even if I can't always show it.
Yeah, no, I completely relate with that as well. What you were saying on just being someone who like has a platform of any kind, you kind of feel like sort of like not a pressure, but like you can't really speak out about all the things you want to speak out about. And so that's why, yes, Kakania is such a great character. When Isolde was going through at the beginning of the patch, the shock therapy, like you were saying, and Kakania was the one who like essentially shut it down. She was like, whoa, hold up, you're doing too much. Like, it's like that is like a very great visual representation of what you were saying on how Kakania pretty much just like is the voice. She stands up for her friends. She stands up for things that she doesn't think is right. That's why she didn't even get her medical license because
She's too tired of the people who are doing the wrong things.
exactly. So she was like, let me just do my own thing. And that's like a very endearing and a great spirit to have as well.
Yeah. But I will say, in another sense, one of my other favorite scenes is when when she's with Marcus and like kind of learning about her and getting curious, and Marcus is like, gosh, she's babbling like a parrot. I feel that I have a certain soccer mom quality. And I have 3 little brothers, so and a niece and a nephew. So I very much have this like, older sister kind of maternal quality to me, and I was definitely able to lean into that and lean into the honesty that brought forward the comedy of like really like just mother henning over someone. Those scenes with Marcus were very fun.
Yeah, she was just geeking over her. She was like, your arcane ability is literally perfect. Join my clinic. Like,
Going to be a psychiatrist. Yeah. Wonderful line.
Yeah, no, that part, gold. All right. Were any lines or scenes particularly challenging or fun to record? Which I know we talked about this a little bit, but you have any more?
Yeah, I think, which line was it? I think it was in 1.9. And it was when I was talking to Illich, and telling him to like do the flyers and all the stuff. Like, there were just so many German words within an English sentence, and for reference, like there was a actual German actress who did the full German lines. It wasn't me. I'm not good. I didn't learn German too. But the lines that were English that had German words, I did have to learn those ones. So there was one that was, and it was in the middle of like being breathless, yelling towards Illich. She had just watched her brother literally like dissolve.
Yeah.
And like go mad. And so having those stakes and trying to pronounce all of the words and speak quickly and project, and like it was just like a brain boggle. I had 2 sessions because I had the playable for Kakania and the story stuff. So they kept that line for the next session. They were like, it's okay, go home. Yep.
Whoa. I didn't even know I couldn't even tell. Y'all's voices blended so well. I couldn't tell there was another person doing the full German lines. I was hearing like, she knows German. Like,
I listened to her and I was like, she's literally amazing. How did she do that?
Well, shout outs to you too, Kakania's German voice. You did a really great job. Both of you. Okay. Question 10. Were there any surprising directions from the director that changed how you approached Kakania or Voyager?
Yeah, I think one of them was definitely, and that's what I said would relate, is the AOC thing. I think that was really helpful. Even like it was even brought up in some of the when she's like not yelling at but like demeaning Mr. Schwartz. It just like she was like really trying to drive home how silly it was what he was doing. And so I think knowing that's what we were kind of going for was really helpful. And it helps lock in her intellect and like who she was early on, because we started with the beginning of 1.7, so I kind of got to establish her character through that. And I just feel like it added so many layers to her. Like, she's so smart, she's so loving, she's so silly, like, she's got so much going on. So it just, it was really cool knowing that early on.
It's interesting. That's so good. Yeah. Question 11. What's one thing about voice acting that people might not realize when listening to your performances of both of your characters?
Oftentimes we don't get context.
Yep.
So specifically for Voyager, the first work that I did for her was just the playable script. So a playable script doesn't involve any other lines or really a whole lot of other context. Like usually you'll get player get, which means like the time that you obtain the character. That'll be like your first line. It's your introduction to them. And then like I just had a bajillion other lines like skill, like battle line 01 or whatever, right? And it would just be like and I was like, so that was really funny and really interesting. But like, yeah, sometimes you just have no context, and it's just like the director has that information for you and has spoken to the client and is like able to kind of translate that into a performance, which is why it's so beautiful and so helpful in work to have a director. Like you can have a bad director. But when you have a director like the one who works on Reverse, that's why Reverse is so good.
Yeah. No, I can only imagine. I can really just imagine just like the script just being like cutesy laugh.
You're like, huh?
What do I do with this? And like
Yeah.
I never even thought of how hard it would be to record like battle lines and like how do I really convey this like with how the character is and how they would be in battle, or like a universal like pretty much battle line that would go into either the most easiest battles or the most like intense ones where like you're fighting a boss that can get rid of some of your attacks. You know?
Yeah. And like for Voyager, because when you see battle line, you're like, oh, combat, this will be like a combat cry. No, please listen. And you're like,
Exactly. That's exactly what I was trying to say. It's like you have to go and think about like this is the character, and like, you know, they're probably just like chilling and they probably aren't as like stressed as everyone else. And that's okay. Yeah, that's really interesting.
Like, lifts the finger and she's like, all right, you're dead.
She's like, well, that was easy. So
Exactly.
all right. Did you improvise any lines or add personal flair to when you voice acted any of your characters?
I would say the biggest way that I did improvisation was through giggles or, you know, just like, I mean, not with Voyager, those were all staged. That was the only way she talked. But like for Kakania, sometimes like adding what we call pre-life, which is like a huff or a kind of like a smirking noise or something to the work. And because I'm also like a director, I say this to a lot of actors who will read a script and look at like the punctuation and think that that's law. The way that we make it ourselves and make it unique to who we are is by taking that punctuation as suggestion and taking the word as law. So like we don't change the actual terms that are there, but we can blow through a comma, or we can add a stop somewhere in a sentence, or you know, add a breath or a moment where we're thinking in between. So it really helps to kind of make that how we talk, because I just did I just stumbled, you know, like, so making it more human through punctuation.
Yeah, so like just taking the words you have and like pretty much adding like this is so cliche, like a voice to it, but not like a voice, but like, you know, like you said, humanizing it a bit more, like making it just like lines on paper become the character itself, which is very interesting. And you know, I didn't even think, also there's a lot of parts I call it reverse breathing, where they're just like they just breathe in like and like I'm just thinking, I'm like, I wonder what like the words on the paper is for that. So like what you said earlier is just, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. It's like every time there's a ... we are not saying ... we're not saying ellipses. There's like, there'll be the ... and then they'll have a descriptor on the side, like this character is running through a door or something. When Kakania finds Isolde in that like dark room, you know, like she's like just run through that door away from people, and then she finds Isolde, and so she's like huffing and puffing to like get there. And I was like, what is happening here?
What is happening? Ooh.
So yeah, it's just like, and again, a great director kind of helps you through those and sets the scene for you, because as actors we only have just like a little dark booth, so they really help to create the picture.
That makes sense. And you know what? You saying that like brought up another question in my head. It's not on the sheet, guys. This is improvised question. So you did say you play the game. So did you play, what was it, 1.9? Or at least did you see? Yeah. So what was your reaction to when the storm of, what was it, 1914? What was your reaction to that whole scene on how she's trying to tie the knot and that whole thing?
It was so sad, the whole thing, to like watch, you know, how some people went crazy, and you know, she lost some people, but she helped everybody there, and she chose to stay in order to make sure that the most people got out alive. And you know, her on the ground talking to sea, and like just like really like that's all we have to do, like, and that'll work. And then she's just like on a mission. She's like, we got it. And yeah, I don't know, it was really powerful, that whole thing. And the trailer that came with that, the like 3D-esque, oh my god,
that was so good.
That song also on repeat on Spotify for me.
Same. But like when I hear it, all I can think of is like, dang, Vienna, dang. Dang. The storm, not the storm again. But yeah, that scene, very powerful scene. Like it really broke me when she was like holding it up, and then like you realize she was the only one around. And then it closed up on the brooch that Isolde gave her, and I was like, my heart. I really felt for like all the characters in that moment, especially her, because I feel like, again, talk about her character, like it kind of went like, for me, it kind of went like that, like, you know, she's very like headstrong, enthusiastic, determined. But then when the whole thing happened with, I believe it was before Marcus decided, hey, we're gonna try this one more time, and we're gonna try and convince, like, not convince, but try and get Isolde to tell us the information. And like Kakania was just pretty much like, you go, Marcus, I'll just stay here, I can't leave Vienna, like this is my home. I was just like, and then like, again, even after that moment they got the information, she was kind of in contact with the Foundation. She's kind of like, then she saw her brother like pretty much just like start melting and like go crazy. And I felt like that was a really hard moment for her. Like you could see it, like, and hear it just weighing down on her character a lot. And it's definitely like not, I wouldn't say black and white from the beginning, but it's definitely like a little different. Like you could tell like all this stuff was like affecting her through the way she was saying stuff, through the way she was reacting. And then she got, like you said, the instructions that, hey, this could, you know, save lives. And then she just went back to it. She was like, okay, you do this, you do that, we're gonna make this work. And then she was the only one left. So it was like a complete roller coaster of emotions, I believe, for Kakania. Or at least that was my interpretation of how it all went down. But yeah, it was just
crazy.
It was a lot, a fever dream, even.
But that's the thing for Kakania. As long as there's hope, she just keeps going. And it's like, beautiful.
Beautiful. All right. If Kakania could paint a portrait of any other Reverse 1999 character, who would it be, and how chaotic would it turn out?
It would be a stick figure drawing of Isolde. Totally. It would, yeah, she would be like trying to draw her little spirits, and Isolde would be like, got a rain cloud? She'd be like,
The stick figure is so perfect because I'm like, there's no way that girl knows how to draw.
No. She did not get any of the art. It's just like, what I do is like, I can sing and I do voiceover, but it's stick figures for me, man. It's nothing else.
Just
Did not
stick
get
figures.
that.
Azul would be like, "Is that me? Oh, it's beautiful. It's a work of art. Thank you." Oh, that's so funny. Okay. Imagine Voyager trying to cook something. What's the most likely outcome? A masterpiece, a disaster, or a portal to another dimension?
I think okay, here's the picture I'm gonna build. It's like the pot would be a portal to another dimension. And then she would like magically be like stirring and like doing things and blah blah blah, and it would look super beautiful and perfect, and everyone would be like, what? And everyone would sit down at the table and be like, oh my god, I'm so excited to eat this, and put it in their mouth, and they'd be like, bleh. And she'd be like,
That's so perfect.
Yeah.
She just like be making something up and they'd be like, whoa, this looks so good. And they eat it, they're like, this is so delicious.
avocado.
What is this? But I feel like you'd first have to be like, okay, well, cooking is, because I would imagine Voyager doesn't actually like need food or something.
Yeah,
She'd be like, what is this whole cooking thing? Like, what is cooking? Like, what are all these things? And just make something that looks like that. And then like just something, and they're like, whoa, you actually did an amazing job. And then they're like, oh.
Yeah. Like in the cookbooks, she'd put on a little chef's hat and everything. But she would just pull out the image of it from another dimension and like put it on the plate.
Exactly. The record cooking time by Voyager.
Yep. Well, that was that.
Okay. Voyager is a mysterious and almost otherworldly character. Worldly. If she could visit any place in the world, where would she go first?
I think she would travel to where the most concentrated animals are. Like, so she would probably go to like the biggest zoo in the world and just like be so enthralled with everything. Like she would be watching the lions like on her hands and knees in front of them and like trying to like growl like they growl with her little tiny voice.
That's so cute. She's so adorable. Like, let me just say,
I love her.
We need art of this. Artists, if you're out there, please draw Voyager at the zoo. We need that to become fan canon.
Yeah.
What is something about recording Voyager that fans may not know? Which you kind of said like a bunch, but
Yeah. I guess one thing is that I think I'm allowed to say this is that we recorded a couple of songs, or we were gonna record one that was different, but we had to change it last minute because commercial rights for things in video game, I think, like you have to be careful of that.
Yeah.
So I think they changed their mind on one of the songs that they were gonna do, or she was gonna hum rather.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah.
I need like a concert, a Voyager concert. Please. We have a singer right here. Concert. With a full-on orchestra too.
Yeah.
Like I would love if they came out with like a song for her. And it was like a very orchestral song. That would be
the best.
Exactly. That'd be so beautiful. Oh.
Please give us Voyager music.
Please. We have a musician, and the voice actor can sing. He's a singer.
Ooh, one thing I can say, because this chapter's out globally now, is that the singing at the end of, what is it, chapter 2.4? Barcarola? That's me.
Yo! My blown. Okay, y'all. Wait. Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that. Wait, that's so cool.
Yeah, they have me like try to voice match her as close as possible. It was so cool.
Wow, the way they just like they have you everywhere. Like, They have you in
Yeah,
every
yeah.
cast. They're like Voyager, Kakania. She voiced Jessica. Okay, bring her in.
Yeah.
They're like she
It
could
happens
sing.
a lot.
Yeah, that is so cool. It's because you're so talented. All right. What inspired you to become a voice actor? Very
Ah,
important question.
yeah, yeah. The age-old question is, like I would watch. We had a family friend who made who recorded like 80s cartoons onto VHSs and then like brought them, and that was before my time, but they like would bring them and just like different VHSs like every few weeks for us to me and my sister to watch. So I
Mm-hmm.
grew up on like He-Man and She-Ra and like old school Scooby-Doo and this one called Barba Papa, which is like cotton candy in French. And yeah, just all of these cool cartoons, and I was always like, I wonder who voice it. And like I was obsessed with the Winx Club and Mew Mew Power, and just like and Totally Spies, and loved all of that world
Mm-hmm.
too. So I was always just like, I just want to know what that is. So in high school, I auditioned for The Little Mermaid and I got Ursula.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, this is so fun. And as the impressionable youth I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to theater school. Maybe I'm good at this. um, so I always knew I wanted to do voiceover, but I kind of put it on hold and was like, I'm gonna see what theater has for me. And then I realized I don't like people watching me. I
Mm-hmm.
can't dance.
Being perceived,
um,
yep.
yeah, exactly. I would rather just make funny voices in the booth, and so I just followed on that trajectory, and that's what got me here today.
Mm-hmm. May I add, you also voice a character in Genshin Impact in Honkai Star Rail. What's the name of the Honkai Star Rail character?
Sarini.
Is she... Which character is she? I haven't played Honkai Star Rail. I've been taking a break, so... But I do know... I saw your post.
Yeah, she's one of the leads in the Amphorius story arc, which is great. I'm so excited because Honkai Star Rail is my current favorite game. So this was like a dream come true. And she's based off of a character that they've had in other games. So Honkai Impact 3rd, the character Alicia. She's based. So it was a really cool character to get to bring to life.
Yeah. And then you also voiced a character in AFK Journal?
Yep.
Yeah, so you're doing all the gacha games.
Yes. And I'm in a new one that's coming out soon as a few different characters.
Ooh.
It's I won't say which characters, but
Yeah.
coming out soon. And that's a really good one to keep an eye out for. I played the beta.
Ooh, keep an eye out for that, guys. I'm gonna play it. Now that I hear that you're in it, I'm gonna keep an eye out on your Twitter, because I'll see.
Voice cast.
I gotta see. What was your biggest challenge you faced when starting out in the industry?
I think not that the industry is closed off to people, it's just that you have to know who to talk to and what questions to ask. So I really didn't know which questions to ask or what to do when I started out. And I had all of this training because I had done theater school, and I had training in like classical voice, and like I was always a singer-songwriter, and like then I trained for 8 months straight in film every week. And I have such a large and broad learning that I knew all of these skills, but when it came to voiceover and how to market yourself as a business and to audition for things, like all of that stuff, even though once you're in it, it seems super simple, it feels so different from the outside. So yeah, I don't know. I felt like an outsider for a while because I didn't really know who to talk to and where the community was. But as soon as I found it, I was like, here's home.
Yeah, I feel like that's a very daunting thing. A lot with entertainment on. Who do you talk to like start doing this as like a full-time thing? Like, I feel like this is a little outing myself a little bit. I have one like part of me, past me, has looked into like what is it like? How do you become a voice actor? Because I get a lot of like voice acting TikToks, and then I just see people in booths recording, and I'm like, dang, how do you even get into this? Like, it seems so complicated. Like, how do you even find the right people to talk to? Like, do you have to talk to someone, or do you just like put in auditions and do you just like go for it? So I see that networking, especially now as a business major, that networking is like a big thing. And no matter what field you do, like it's always knowing the right people and being able to talk to them is a huge thing. And I can completely relate to like the feeling of, I feel like I have all the skills, but I just don't know how to like, not like resume. Resume is like the wrong word, but like I don't know how to showcase it all to like make sure the right people are able to get their eyes on it. But you know, even hearing that like is a thing in the voice acting entertainment realm, very interesting. And you were saying you have like film, theater, you have like all these things. You were talking earlier about linguistics. I was like, she's very much like not star-studded. What's the word? It's like you have a lot of tools. Like you have a lot of like stuff.
Multifaceted? Is that
multifaceted?
The word? Right.
Yes. Multifaceted. That's the word. I can't think of like the big words. Yeah, so it's very interesting, and I like seeing how you're now in a lot of these super cool, super awesome gacha games. And in the gacha game field, I hope to see you in definitely a lot more projects and playing 5 more reverse 1999 characters. Then we could talk about them too.
A deep baddie. I will do that.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see the next game you're talking about that you're gonna be in. Really excited. I'm definitely gonna play that.
You will see a deep voice baddie in that game.
Deep voice baddie. Deep voice baddie debut, guys. Come on. I'm definitely gonna promote it because people need to see it and play it. I'm gonna play it.
Yeah, it's actually, the story is really, really good, and there's like, it's just really cool. It's just really cool. It's an interesting idea that kind of feels a little inspired by reverse, actually. Like some of the concepts I feel like overlap, and the voice cast is super strong. And the adventures you get to go on, and the combat style is really cool. Like it feels good. You know, so like I'm really excited to play it again too.
All right, that's so exciting. That's so exciting. A new game to add to the roster, guys. You hear it. All right, and I think this is the last question. Yes, it is. What's been the most rewarding moment in your voice acting career so far?
I think when Kakania's playable trailer came out.
Yeah.
I watched that back and I went, oh my god.
Wow. That is so, you know, because again, really big, impactful character. I feel like a lot of, you know, blood, sweat, and tears went into that, especially as watching it. This is the part where I start glazing you, but like really, I truly do feel like you did such a great job as Kakania. Like, everyone loves her. Everyone loves how you connected very well with not just Isolde, but every character just that she comes across, whether it's just like a Foundation NPC or it's like, you know, Marcus, you know, like you were saying how Marcus was like, oh, it's like, girl talks too much. But even still, and then it was nice to see, like, even through the way you conveyed, like, the transition between, you know, I don't really know this girl, but I like her. Like, when she met, like, Marcus, too. We're in it together, like, type thing. The emotional scenes, like, all of it was just, it made the story 10 times better to watch. And I will always appreciate voice actors, and they just make the experience so much better. So it's like me, who I struggled to read a lot. I have dyslexia, but yeah, so I just always appreciate voice actors, and even more people like you who put in the extra effort to make sure they're conveying this as humanly, authentically, and as well as possible to make sure the character is portrayed. Not portrayed. Not the character's portrayed. The character's portrayed.
Well, it was, but
low key. Wait, that's so funny.
a little Freudian slip.
The character is portrayed as authentically as possible. So, flowers to you. Thank you for everything that you do. And yeah, I'm excited to see all the roles to come. And that Voyager album. Come on.
Yeah, come on, let's get some.
Yeah, let's get working on it, Blue Pac. Want to see an album tomorrow, okay? But yeah, it was so insightful and fun to talk to you. I'm sure everyone, if you're watching this, make sure to tell her thank you for all her amazing work in Reverse 1999, and also give her flowers. She does a really great job, no matter what role, whether it's singing or laughing or it's even cooler to hear all the stuff you had to learn even to just play the character. So that was really cool, and this was a really cool experience, and I'm really happy that you're here and that you decided to come on. And
thank you so much for having me. Truly, it's such a joy, because this is video games are my special interest, so that being my job and having made that my job in such a holistic sense, I do casting and directing and voice acting for video games my whole life. I just this is my happy place, and that's why I put so much into it, because it's it is my everything. So it makes me very happy.
Yeah, I feel like this is a little tangent, but it's not tangent, but what you were saying, I think we discussed this line earlier, but I just now connected the dots on how Kakania was which I have the direct quote. I don't know why I didn't read it. Kakania said, "The nature of the stage is to be someone else." And it's that's kind of in a way speaking to yourself in a way, because you to perform, you play as someone else, you know what I mean? And it's that's what it's all about. Dun-dun-dun, So
stepping out of your own shoes and exploring, but still at the core you're you. But you get to take on these different shades of people, and it just it's so cool.
That is so it was just such a pleasure talking to you. You guys, make sure to check her out on Instagram, also Twitter. She tweets a lot. And make sure to keep an eye out for that new game.
I'll be tweeting all about it as soon as I can.
You're active on Twitter. That's how I found you. I just want you to know that you were one of the first reverse voice actors. I combined those two words. Voice actors. That's what we're gonna call them. Voice actors. You were one of the first voice actors for Reverse 1999 that I followed, and you just reposting all the cat Kakania references. That's how I found you.
I love that.
Yeah.
I will always be posting Kakania memes.
So you guys, make sure you check her out everywhere you can find her. And thank you guys for watching, and hopefully I get to do another interview soon, and I will see you guys later. Check out.